Hi everyone, I'm Reena, and this is Resonant Space. For me, one of the hardest things about creating new work is actually that very first step, which is knowing what work to even accept in the first place. As composers, it takes us so long to write a new piece. We can't go and write 100 pieces a year the way that maybe at the craziest a performer would be able to perform 100 concerts a year. And so that means that we reach this threshold very soon of having to say no to work. And I'm not just speaking for myself as a professional composer. I mean, I have teenage students who are in the same situation. So I think it's more about just the nature of the work we do and how long it takes. So in any case, as I was thinking about how do I begin to say no to things, how do I begin to parse what work I should accept and what work I shouldn't, I started to think about the pieces that had really felt the best to write for me, that process felt really joyful and really wonderful. And then I worked my way back into a series of questions that I would ask myself to kind of tease out the work that would allow me to have that process. And at this point, I can't say that I'm perfect at it. I think I still take more work than I should, but I've narrowed it down to 3 questions, at least for the big commissions. So the first question is, am I learning something? I think a lot of times as composers, we get asked to write similar work to the work that we've already written. And you know this if you're a choir composer or if you're a band composer. If you've written a few pieces for either of those genres that have taken off, you're going to get a slew of commissions for that exact same thing. And the question you have to ask yourself is, am I learning something new from this? And if so, is this a thing that I want to continue learning, right? It's not just about the genre, but it's about, what new thing you can bring to it. And I remember a couple years ago, a trombone player approached me and she said, I would love for you to write a piece for trombone and piano. And of course, immediately I could answer that first question. And I said to her, I don't know if you want me to write a piece for trombone. I mean, I don't really write for trombone. I don't have anything substantial. And she said, yes, that's exactly why I want you to write a piece for trombone, because I feel that your style would work so well for our instrument. And it would really be great to kind of work with you on it, And it's true, she is the kind of person who I know I can ask stupid questions to. I know I can get really deep with her, and I know she'll be able to get very granular with me. So I'll be able to learn so much. So that was a place where I really felt that first question was met. The second question is, is this piece going to allow me to build some kind of relationship? And it doesn't always have to be a relationship with the specific performers or the commissioner. It can kind of allow you to build a broader relationship, maybe with a certain audience, maybe with people in a certain city, maybe with a community. But ultimately, I think it's really important to, as you go through your career, to not always be starting things that are one-offs and then you kind of move on to the next thing. Because the minute you've worked with someone before, it allows you to get deeper and deeper into your work with one another. And so I definitely have, I definitely take new work, and I take work by people that I've never met before. But I also love having these collaborators that I've worked with dozens of times, because I know I can get so deep into my creative practice with them and just reach a new level that isn't always possible on the first go. So as I'm accepting work from people that I don't know, that I'd just be working with for the first time, I ask myself, do I see myself somehow being able to build a relationship through this work? And that's really important to me. And then the third question is, it sounds really silly, but it's, do I hear music in my head? And, I think often we're always trying to ask these kind of tactical, practical, logistical questions, and we're not always trusting our own intuition. But for me, that moment where I hear music in my head is just this moment where somehow intuitively I know that my creative soul is opening up when I'm thinking about this commission. And it actually came from a very specific situation, which was that Typically I have to plan my work, years in advance. But there was this one choral conductor who kind of had an opportunity, and she called me up and she said, I would really like you to write this piece in like 3 months. And that's a very short time frame for anyone, but it was especially completely untenable for me. And so because I just liked her so much, my intention was to get on the phone and just say no to her in person. But then this magical thing happened where when she started talking to me about the commission, I literally just started hearing the piece in my head. And I was like, okay, if I just write that down, like that would be the piece. And actually that's exactly what happened. I basically wrote the piece in a week, and I don't typically write that fast, but it was because I heard this music in my head. And I think it's so important to just trust our intuition and trust when we just feel somehow that something seems to be pinging us and sparking us musically. So maybe this week I want you to think about what are the best experiences you've had working on projects with people, and what are elements of those experiences that you want to take with you into your next work. Maybe form a series of questions for yourself that allow you to determine what work is right for you to take.